Nice.
Vegas.
Nice.
Yes, I'm in Northern California, up by pretty close to Oregon, but it's hot here too. It's been high
Yeah.
80s and 90s and stuff, and I'm up on a mountain, so warm.
Should be cooler.
Hey, we are live, you guys, and as
Woo!
we're kind of rolling into this, talking about the heat. I thought Dave, who's in Northern California, was gonna be the only one free from the heat, but it's like Fourth of July parades, fireworks, and miserable heat.
Sweat.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Um, but welcome everybody. We'll just kind of chit chat for a minute while we let our guests or our viewers roll in. But we have our group with us. We have a great discussion planned. But looking forward to the holiday week next week. Our family tradition, we're going to do this and we're going to ask our viewers too, what is your 4th of July tradition? On our side, when the kids were younger, we would do the parade thing and it was tons of fun. And now we've evolved to, we just do pretty much do the city fireworks show. And it's fun to have all of their friends, my kids' friends come and hang out and we just spend the evening together. Um, Dave, what happens in Mount Shasta? What's going to happen with you out there?
So part of the mountain is still closed. You can only go up so far anyway, but there's a big gate, and then it's just kind of snowy after that. But they're hoping that they can open that up by the 1st of July. And so my brother's actually coming out to visit me, and so it'll be fun to have some family close by, and we'll probably head up as high as we can get on the mountain and watch the fireworks from up on this amazing mountain. And yeah, should be fun.
Oh, so fun. Jacob in Las Vegas, tell me
Big
what
deal.
happens.
We do fireworks. So this is interesting. I grew up East Coast, and I was always in Ohio for fireworks, and they always watch fireworks with 3D glasses. And out west, nobody's heard of this. What is like? Everybody looked at me like I was crazy when I asked for 3D glasses, but like they didn't really do anything. I think it was just fun. Um,
A little
so
more
has anybody
shimmering.
else done that? Like
No,
Ohio,
that
that was
sounds
Never heard
all
of that.
about the
interesting.
3D glasses.
That's interesting. No.
Okay.
All right.
So will you be wearing 3D glasses and watching fireworks this
I
year?
can't find them. I don't have them. So no 3D glasses. We'll just be enjoying the fireworks.
All right.
2D.
We also did a Christmas in July parade every 4th of July. Like Santa would come. It was a lake, and he would come on a jet ski, like a jet ski on a trailer and throw candy. That was my big memory. So no Santa on a jet ski in Vegas either.
Oh,
Oh man.
I know. All my
Wow.
childhood dreams. Just
uh,
It's awesome.
well, Rita, what happens out in Philly? I mean, our nation's
Yeah,
birthplace where everything happened. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot happening
there's a lot
there.
going on. It's so amazing to be here the week of July 4th. The week of July 4th, there's a lot of museums that are free that normally you would have to pay to get into. So we, as and my son and my husband and my brother, we do some of the same things every year. There's a parade that's held on July 4th every year. We do visit the museums, and my son and I have a long-standing tradition is we take the tour bus every July 4th, as it's the same tour bus that goes through the city, but it's so much fun on July 4th because there's a lot of decorations that are out, a lot of great things happening within the city. We have a barbecue when we get home and all that, but living in the city during July 4th is just phenomenal. It's amazing, so much stuff to do. But the free museums is great. And those of you that have been in Philadelphia know that we have a lot of museums that are different as well, not the same. So every day there's a spotlight on something that you can get into free, which is great for families.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Rita, when I lived there, I used to go down to the river because I lived on the river. And I remember the fireworks were like 2 hours late. So you're down there, you have your picnic, your
Yeah,
sodas and drinks and all of that. And then it was like so late. We all had to go to the bathroom, but you couldn't leave your spot. I just remember being like, by the time I got to watch the fireworks over the river, it was just like miserable. Everybody was miserably uncomfortable, not
there's a
wanting to
lot,
leave
a
and miss
lot of
them. But
fireworks. Yeah. And
it's really
usually there's a
cool. It was
baseball game
beautiful.
that weekend too. So there's a lot of fireworks, during that weekend because of the baseball games.
Ooh,
It's like
that's
the
neat.
Mecca for 4th of July, right?
Right.
Yes.
Well, when Jacob just said he lived down by the river, that yeah,
That
that's when
sounds so
Elk
like
came to mind.
country.
That sounds
and I
like
was
a
in the middle of
song.
the city.
Yeah, that's right. CJ, tell us about what happens with you on the 4th.
Yeah, well, so I grew up in the Midwest as well, and but out here in Utah, it's a big. I mean, people in Utah love the 4th of July. Flags everywhere. I love that. About every yard you drive by, there's flags. In the past, we've done what they call Stadium of Fire. It's a at the big football stadium. They usually have big headliner music group or something, and just fireworks in the stadium. But one thing that our family does, my wife's family, for the last, I think it's 20 years now, they have a family triathlon. So and it's either not usually on the 4th, it's usually the day before or the day after. So I'm not sure I'm going to do it this year, but it's pretty fun to kind of see everybody trying to swim and bike and run, and it's a good get together.
Mini triathlon or full triathlon?
No, it's usually a mini triathlon, and some of those older folks, they allow us to do just segments of it, so you can make a team. So if you only want to do the swim or only want to do the bike,
relay.
yeah, exactly.
There's something about suffering that brings people together.
That's right.
It's true. You've been through
Boy.
the same thing, been in the same
I mean,
place.
I wouldn't even go go for a jog with Alex in Charleston at a conference years back, let alone a triathlon.
Hey, that is one of the best things about traveling to cities for chapter meetings or conferences. That there aren't many ways better than to explore a city than to jog or cycle it. You're just right in the thick of things. You can feel the air and
Everything.
yes,
Exactly.
I agree.
I love it.
And Alex does triathlons in his sleep, so
Yeah. I like to walk, so I walk everywhere, as Alex knows.
Oh.
I like to get to feel the city and just kind of take my time going through it.
Yeah.
I like cheering on all you active people from like a nice patio coffee shop, like sidewalk cafe.
Yeah, you're like, that looks
It's more my
hard.
speed.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to talk more about Philly. And if you're watching, let us know, what are your 4th of July traditions. We'd love to hear about them, hear what's going on. And sometimes on social media, we'll see popular 4th of July codes pop up,
Yeah.
explosion type things. So if you got any, drop them in the chat, and that'd be fun to see. But let's do a little introductions here, and Jacob and Rita are on the NAB, but I'm gonna, and we'll get to you guys, but because CJ, I think I know many members know you, but this may be your first or second time having you on Social Hour. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, I was thinking about the other day, thinking about going to conferences and AAPC conferences. I've been doing this now almost 25 years. So it's exciting. I still love it. So I come from a clinical background, which is kind of strange. We all kind of come to this space from different backgrounds, right? So it's always fun to connect with people and see how they got here. But so I'm an MD by schooling, but I left that 25 years ago, and have been working full time in coding and compliance for lots of big organizations, Intermountain Healthcare, MD Anderson Cancer Center, University of Texas, and their medical institutions, and then as a compliance officer for a medical device company. And the last 6 or 7 years, I've been teaching and doing consulting. But I still remember my first AAPC conference, and I remember taking that first certification way back when. And so it's cool when I look back on this.
were you nervous?
I was nervous, right? Like, I'd done a lot of school, but this was like something new, right? It's like they don't teach you this in medical school, and so I had to learn it, and I had some really good mentors, and great people, so it was good.
Why the shift, CJ? Why the shift out of the clinical side?
Yeah, so I did well in medical school. I loved it. I love learning. I'm a bookworm, so I could go to school all day, every day if I had the money. But towards the end of medical school, I recognized I wasn't real passionate about the direct patient care. right? I probably should have gone into research or something. But you know, what do you do? It's like I'm through this, and now what am I going to do? And as I started my residency, I was looking around, and I was dumb enough and they were looking for somebody dumb enough at Intermountain Healthcare to have somebody who'd want to tell doctors about Medicare and coding. I'm like, I don't know anything about it, but I love to teach, and I love to learn, and so they're like, we'll get you there. We can do it. So it was basically, you know, to do medicine well and to think, look, I'm going to do this for 30, 40 years. You got to be passionate about it. And I liked it, but I wasn't passionate about patient care. I'm more passionate about education. That's really what I love to do.
Okay. And many of you may know CJ from Healthicity, our sister company. You worked for Healthicity for a time.
I did, and I still do some consulting for them. So I do a lot of thought leadership stuff for them, some webinars and some, you know, writing white papers and blog posts and those sorts of things. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, CJ. Rita, welcome back. You may be one of the most tenured guests on Social Hour.
Oh, I like that term, tenure.
Hey, and by the way, Heather McClear says she loved your session at HealthCon.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Rita.
So currently I'm the Director of Business Operations and Revenue Cycle, MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper University Hospital in Camden, New Jersey. So in my role, I have many different things that I do, right? Revenue cycle, auth teams, medical records, call center, admin, surgical schedulers, all that great stuff that encompasses that revenue cycle circle. And I also am the president of the Philadelphia chapter. I have been a tenured person for AAPC. I been a member since 1999. I always say that was a very good year because Prince ruled. And then, you know, my first conference was in Minneapolis many, many years ago. I have attended every regional and national conference since then, except the year I gave birth. I tell you, Antonio, you know, had to get in the way.
Now he comes to every conference with you.
Yes. He has a lot of AAPC moms that have seen him grow over the years. He just graduated college in May, right? Jacob. I sit on the National Advisory Board currently, but I was previously served on what is now called the Chapter Advisory Board, but back then it was called the Board of Directors. And previous to that, I did serve on the National Advisory Board previously. I was also chosen Officer of the Year in 2019. That was a huge honor because I was given it by my peers. And I was, along with Jacob, chosen one of Members of the Month by our AAPC magazine. That was also a great honor. I love to teach, like Dr. Wolf. I love going to chapters. I presented chapters a lot, and I love to teach, you know, other things like leadership and things like that as well. So my ultimate goal is to be tenured at a university, hopefully, you know, to be able to do that permanently. I think that, you know, I love this organization. I've done many things over the years with them and continue to, because I think we are here for a purpose and that we are here to serve our community.
Awesome. I love it. And you're well known within the AAPC family as far as, because you do attend so many chapter meetings and you really try to get out there and share your knowledge, and we appreciate that.
Well, I love doing it. And our friendships have lasted a long time. Like Alex, you and I have been friends a long time, but Dave and I go way back. And Jacob and I have formed our own type of friendship since we've been on the board. So it's all about networking and friendship. So
yeah,
I love it.
Love having worked with all of you over the years. I remember even CJ editing some of your old Healthicity webinars, you know, years ago too. And
yes,
you read it. Well, and Jake, I've worked with all of you. It's so fun. It's a big family, and it just keeps growing.
Yep.
Jacob, tell us a
awesome.
little bit about yourself.
It's hard to follow in the footsteps of all these great folks, but I'm Jacob Swartzwelder. I'm the Director of Coding Operations for Coker. It's a consulting firm, do nationwide audit, risk analysis for hospitals, health systems, providers, things like that. Currently sit on the National Advisory Board with Rita. Very excited about that. That is probably one of the most rewarding things I've gotten to do with AAPC. I've written, I've spoken at conferences, I've been involved in so many things, but being able to directly contribute and be a voice for members of AAPC and kind of pass up some of those ideas and actually make them happen. It was really cool, and being able to work with Rita on some of the initiatives that are happening on her side of things with the NAB. We're split on committees. I don't know if everybody is aware of that. And Rita and I sit on different committees, but it's really awesome to be able to implement some of those things. Rita, I have to tell you, I took my AAPC playing cards from HealthCon on a meeting and was playing cards with my coworkers with the AAPC cards. I was like, Rita, give me luck. But it was really cool. But being able to, again, give back in that way and be that voice and start implementing things to help members advance their careers. That's my main goal with the NAB, is that career advancement committee, and just making resources and things. I've had so many incredible mentors and friends in this community. Dave, Alex, Rita, a lot of really great people that have guided me through difficult situations or complex decisions. And what's really neat to have, even like the NAB, and be able to send an email out, like, I'm at this space, who has some resources or advice, or what are you doing at your organization? It's really that network. And Alex, I had to laugh at your background, the HealthCon wall of
Yeah.
because it was just, I remember back to HealthCon, just how many people I was able to connect with, new and old, and talk about, where are you now? What are you doing? Where are you heading? What's going on at your place? And just build that sort of more comprehensive picture of our industry. And I'm grateful that AAPC creates that for all of us.
Yeah, I love that. It's one thing to, work with people virtually or over the phone, email, whatever. And then when you come to HealthCon, it's like, oh, it just
Yeah.
so much different. Everybody it all just comes to life.
Yeah, a lot
And
of energy.
Pretty cool.
yeah, it's cool.
Totally
I think
agree with
we,
you. It's like that love, that friendship, that, seeing each other in the hallway and saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were here. And, grabbing coffee with someone that you haven't seen in a couple years and just seeing the growth in so many members over the years and where everybody is today, is just amazing. It's just wonderful. And to think that, you were able to connect with that person when they first started, and now look at them. They're, I always say, if they've got a position higher than mine, more power to you. I think that means so much within our world, because the business side of medicine sometimes is not always looked at the same way as clinical, right? And that's been our mission, is to say we are the foundation of many, many institutions. And I think that, when we go to conference, that you see that resurgence, right? That just electricity that happens.
Yeah, it's very motivating.
Rita,
I think
it's
very,
so funny. You said something that stuck out to me, Rita, which is like friend, right? And I think you have coworkers, people you directly work with that are in your industry, but there's a limit on what type of relationship you might be able to have with them. And what's really neat about belonging to AAPC is you get people that know your industry. If you're complaining about something, or if you want to make a joke about something, they get it. There's like that awareness, but you get the opportunity to actually become friends with them
yeah.
professionally. And I think that's really cool, because there's some limits or some restrictions within organizations if you're working with them. But when you're just part of the organization, you do get to build that actual relationship with people and be excited when you see them at conferences and share things and do that. And I think it's a really big difference. And I don't think a lot of industries have that same
Yeah.
opportunity.
And we really try and facilitate that too in most of our events and everything, because we understand, I mean, that's how we were founded. A grassroots organization with small little pockets across the nation that all did the same. We're in the same small, well, not
Yeah.
small, little industry that's just not as well known then. And
Right.
so it's been fun carrying on that same tradition of, hey, you're not just professional coworkers or whatever doing the same thing. You need each other. We all need each other. It's cool.
and as a staff, Dave and I work with our members every day. We are in it. And I know you guys are in your own ways, but when you go to a conference, it really makes you realize and hits home how important and how amazing this organization is. So thanks for all you guys do.
Yeah, and it's not, oh, sorry, Alex. I know
So go
you're
ahead.
say something. And it really isn't so much what we're doing. We just try and facilitate, right? It's all of you and your contributions. We rely on that. I mean, look, even on this social hour, we rely on you guys to be the faces and the voices of the whole membership in the organization. And and just allowing everybody to feel like they're really a part of it. I think that's important.
And with that, Rita, on her end, has really been pushing to make this Philadelphia regional happen for many years. So if you did not know, our HealthCon regional is happening in Philly on August 26th through 28th. You can attend it either in person or virtually, which that's, I don't want to call that a new thing anymore. I think we've been doing the virtual hybrid option for about 3 or 4 years now. But there'll be over 40 sessions, over 30 speakers, and you can earn over 15 CEUs. So you can knock out a good chunk of those. Rita, I'm curious, because I know we've talked about this and how much you've tried to push to make this happen because you love your city. And that's what I love. Oh, you love your city so much, and it is an amazing town. Tell us about how this all came about.
Well, I've been around a long time, like you said, I'm tenured, and I'm gonna keep using that word, Alex. And I kept bringing it up and kept bringing it up, and it seemed like the team that in charge of conference actually came to Philly as one of their choices that they thought, and then we connected. So, we're always asked when we serve on the boards, like, what city would you like, regionals or nationals to happen? So I know a lot of us have put in many different cities over the years. But my conversations with APC is like, can we come to Philly at least once, like just do a regional? It's just a great city and there's so much to do, and people won't be bored, and the food is fantastic, and it just came to light. And then I was asked to kind of, give my opinions about things, and give some snippets about some of the great stuff that's here in Philly to do. And I've worked kind of closely with the teams, with Brian Van Norman and Sophie and his team, to make sure that what we need to do and where things could be, and also really pushing it amongst the chapters around the Philadelphia area, because it is a first. We had one previously in Atlantic City several years ago, but this was the first. It was actually in Philadelphia. It's very convenient to get to Philadelphia by train, by car, by plane, by boat.
Anyway.
And really just trying to get everybody here to see what great city it is. So I am like extremely excited that I get to see my APC family here, as well as all of the people that will be attending conference. And I told everyone that, over the several months that I've been speaking to chapters, that if they come to conference, to please come find me, because I will definitely be amongst the masses.
Yes, I love
Rita,
it.
I had to laugh. You did all the videos around Philly of like all these things. And so Alex asked me to do one for Vegas, and I went up like a hill, and I was like, this is a rock.
This is where I hike.
It was the most boring thing on earth. And you're like, this is a museum, this is the Liberty Bell, and this is where the first. I was like, this is the rock.
Right outside my backyard.
You are definitely killing the selling
Well, I
Philly deal better than
appreciate
I
that.
did.
Yeah, if you haven't seen those shorts of Rita, check them out. They're on YouTube and Facebook, right? On our Facebook page.
YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
And Instagram. Yeah, they're short little clips. Rita's just giving tours of all these amazing places in Philly. Yeah, it's cool. And Jake, yours was good too. It was great.
We have our city hall. There's Philly right there.
Awesome.
Hey, we have so many great speakers and so much amazing education lined up. CJ, I think all of you will be speaking. CJ, will you tell us a little bit about what your topic will be?
Yeah, so I'm speaking kind of more on the compliance side this time. I've spoken a lot on coding in the past, but so the OIG published a major document in November last year. So I think a lot of us know that the OIG publishes guidance on how compliance programs should be set up, which includes auditing and reviewing medical records, coding, that sort of thing. And most of their guidance documents are decades old. And so this is big news that they published this new document. It's about 91 pages long. And so I'm going to be focusing kind of on a high level of what's in that document, the new OIG guidance document for compliance programs. Doing that in a sense of what's kind of different in that document from what they've done in the past. A lot of it's very similar, but some of it has changed as well. And so really excited to kind of talk about that document and kind of why the OIG did this and what it means for compliance programs.
Is this a topic that should appeal to all coders? Like, who's the perfect attendee for this?
Yeah, I mean,
session?
obviously, if somebody is involved in the compliance program, if they work for a compliance program, I know we have coders that might be in revenue cycle. We have some coders and auditors that actually work for a compliance department. But I think it's good for anybody because we all know that the OIG drives so much as far as what risks are out there. They're publishing their audits, what they're finding. So I do think it's good for anybody, and it's such a major publication, and they haven't done one for like 15-20 years, right, of this magnitude. So I think anyone in the healthcare industry should know about it. I'm actually speaking about it at another organization outside of coding that it's for medical practices and their leaders, so CEOs and CFOs. I'll be doing that later this year, just because I believe it's a topic that even that C-suite should know about if they haven't heard about it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for sharing, CJ.
Yeah.
Jacob, how about yourself? What will your session be about, Jacob?
Oh gosh, way easier than that. I don't. You are very adventurous, Doctor. No, okay. Really, really awesome to have that type of information. I'm going to be talking about auditing HCCs in the primary care setting. So how to optimize those RAF scores, collecting HCC data in that setting, during that office visit, annual wellness visits, things like that. Going over some of the strategies for making sure that we are compliantly setting ourselves up to collect accurate data, the impact of that data. Really excited to get to share kind of some practical applications around what that process looks like at different organizations, who's doing what, how they're adapting to recent changes from V24 over to V28, all of those different things, and really understanding that this data collection has impact. And it's really insightful to get to talk with some people that work on the payer side, which I never have, around how they're using that information from this RAF score collection. Some of the contracting that we're starting to see utilizing that RAF score for patient services, for quality initiatives, all of these different things as this whole system's evolving. And I'm super excited to have the discussion around that.
And who is your perfect attendee? What segment of the revenue cycle would they be in?
I'll admit, I'm probably not good at focusing on people because I like to cover the full gamut. I'm like, you could come in. I always start everything super basic and then get into some details. So I really do feel like if you are in the primary care setting, if you work with a specialty, even whatever setting you're in, the information could apply. Also, if you're interested in it, and I really love conferences for this reason. If you are maybe an outpatient pro-fee coder and you want to know like what's going on that HCC team at my organization, some of these settings or these sessions, can really give you insight into what that work might look like. Is your current role a good fit? Is there maybe somewhere that you could take your career? So I would encourage everybody to not just look at these session titles as does it apply right now, but to look at them as, is it something that I can get ahead of? Is it something that maybe is my next certification or a career goal of mine? Where can I get that fundamental information around some of these topics? So I think it could apply to anybody. The goal of it was a primary care with that RAF collection, optimizing that RAF score. So anybody in that setting, anybody currently coding HCCs or in the process of overseeing that data collection at their organization would find value.
Jacob, I'm so glad you said that. This is kind of a recommendation I make to everybody. I've been a manager and a director and had employees attend conferences. Attend at least one session in every conference you go to in something you know nothing about. It's just, you never know when your career or just knowing about that is going to be useful. So I make it a goal for myself, and I think it's just a good idea for everybody, is to go to something you don't know anything about or very little about and learn something new.
I love it. Well, I love the concept of being able to get inspired by something, right? Where you go, you didn't think maybe you go to like an OBGYN session. You don't think that's going to be a specialty you enjoy. And you're like, this is actually really interesting to me. You can start to get inspired. And I think having that flexibility with your options, kind of not the college course of like taking all the easy A
Right.
kind of courses, right? Like the automatic A, but coming into something that might be challenging or I have to get a coffee and pay attention through can be valuable.
At HealthCon in Las Vegas a few months ago, there's a gentleman named Paul Dodonna. I don't know if anybody met him, but he was a new CPCA. He passed his certification exam this past spring, and he was not employed. He kind of went into it cold, not knowing anybody or really having worked in the industry at all. But he's so grateful he came. He said he took pages and pages of notes, and it hasn't jived yet, but he just got his first position, so no matter where you are in the spectrum of your career, just being brave and stepping into something new is very helpful. Rita, I don't know how you're going to have any time to present because you'll be hosting all of us. But if you do find
Dinner
an hour or two, yeah,
Dinner at Rita's.
dinner at Rita's.
400 or 500 people can you host that many?
Yeah. No, block
Listen,
off.
Have you ever
send
seen an
me a
Italian
kitchen
cook?
at the
That's a
hotel,
normal
I can
Tuesday.
cook a meal.
Just a normal Italian dinner, right? Yeah. Love that, Jacob.
Family style.
Family style, that's right, Alex.
I mean, we could do the whole like we'll get a big plastic tarp and just lay it down on the grass. Just spaghetti noodles, a bunch of spaghetti sauce on it, all over. Get everybody lined up on both sides, hands behind the back, mouths
we have to
on.
get this straight, Dave. When you come to Philadelphia, it's not sauce. It's gravy.
Sauce. Oh, it's gravy. Okay.
You got a choice, gravy or
Gotta write that
marinara.
down.
So we have to have a little bit of conversation before you guys go.
We might have to have a conversation with a lot of us. We might have to bring you up during the rookie session and you can, give some rules for being in Philly.
Rita, we need the tip sheet. I need like those travel tip sheets you get when you go to like
Okay.
another country.
I think I
Like
could do
here's
that,
like the
Jacob.
tipping percentage. Here's this. Like I need you to make one for Philly. How do I order? How do I get the good stuff?
Yeah, I probably have to teach people how to order a cheesesteak here. So yeah, I think
Oh,
you're right,
that's
Jacob.
the
I
tip
need to do that
sheet.
tip sheet. So I am honored and privileged to be speaking.
Hold on. Contradict. How do you take your cheesesteak, Rita?
How do you order it, Jacob?
I'm an onion and provolone. I don't like provolone.
You can get provolone, but it's the way you said I want a cheesesteak wit. So wit whiz, right? Wit means you want onions.
With provolone.
So yeah.
Wit.
So yeah. But the original is wit whiz. Wit whiz is fried onions and cheese whiz. So that's the original cheesesteak. But I prefer provolone as well.
Yeah, I don't think I want cheese whiz on my cheesesteak. No.
But then you have to do the battle of the cheesesteaks, right? So I did that when Sophia came and Alex, you have to do the battle. You got to go to one and then the other, and then tell me which one you like better. But you can't eat them both on one side, right? It has to be separate. There's a lot of cheesesteak connoisseurs in Philadelphia, in South Philadelphia. So just so you know.
Love
But your session.
Is it your session should be about?
I'm hungry, Alex.
Cheesesteak. With Rita.
So I actually, getting back to conference, I will be presenting on coaching for employee performance. So I have a little bit of a different track than most. I focus on mentorship, coaching. A big piece of coaching for employee performance is really about mentorship. Those of us that have, been in the field for a while have that one person that has led us, right? That has told us what we should do, what we shouldn't do, really looked at us and said, these things are really what you're good at. So it's really about, that connection between the employee and their leader, or your mentor does not have to be your leader, although hopefully it is. So it's really about focusing on that. The audience really is, like Jacob said, is anyone that wants to come, because there are people that have been in the field as an established leader for a long time that struggle with this. There are new leaders that want to learn how to do it. And then there are employees that have their own perception of how do I connect with my leader, right? How am I able to do this? Because it is a two-way street when you talk about it. So for me, I love doing this stuff because I get a lot of participation from the audience, and I'm able to really focus on maybe some of the issues that people have. So it's really exciting. I can't wait to do this in Philadelphia.
Awesome. You seem to really love teaching about leadership and managing teams. That's your
Personal
jam.
development.
Yeah, that's what I love to do. Although, HEMONC is my specialty from a coding perspective, but my whole track has been for the past several years has been leadership and growing the leaders of tomorrow, and little tidbits that I've learned over the years, because I started being a leader when I was 25 years old. I'm much older than that now. And I learned a lot over the years and faced a lot of obstacles, and also needed to understand how to connect with a person. There's one thing, and I actually said this during our emerging leadership program, that I taught last month, was my session about leadership. And the one thing I always say, and I learned it from my mentor because he really opened my eyes, and I take this with me everywhere, is that you have to change the way you speak to each person for them to understand the message you are giving. And I didn't understand that when I was younger. Over the years, it's been my mantra, and I don't ever forget that, because not everybody processes information the same, nor do they understand things the same way. So I think that those little tidbits that you learn over the years and being able to share them with people helps them grow, right? Because I'm not going to be a leader forever, right? There's a time and a place. I'm going to be like Jacob, sitting in Italy, enjoying myself while Jacob is in Mexico. So,
Or Mount Shasta.
Mount Shasta.
Right.
CJ, where do you want to be?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Hawaii would be nice, huh?
All right. We've got our retirement
Not
plans,
bad.
Alex.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't even see that far right now.
Right.
But you make a really good point, Rita, about just about bringing that all together. The flexing your style, right? To be able to
yes,
communicate effectively. A lot of times we hear that adage, well, this is just the way I am, so whatever, and I'm like, for a person like me, I'm like, I don't want to be stuck in some sort of self-contained box that I've created for myself. I want to be
Right.
as dynamic as possible.
yeah,
And you figure out, really, to get the most out of life, you really need to be, and to motivate people and all of that, be able to flex your style to get the best cooperation out of them in
yeah.
the situation.
You have to pivot. You have to pivot in so many things when you're a leader, and you have to be able to understand why you need to pivot and how you need to pivot. I think that's an essential piece of growth as a leader, as well.
Yes. Rita, you live what you teach, because anybody who meets you and gets to know you feel loved and valued as a human. I mean, you're really great at that, and it's genuine. But also, I've seen where you've had to be hard driven and draw lines and set boundaries. Yeah. Yes, Dave feels that love.
Never use those emojis. I just hit it.
Yeah.
That's good.
But what you teach is who you are.
I'm going to say, from when I was younger, right? You don't just talk the talk, right? You walk the walk. You have to be an example to people. And, I not only want to do that within my professional career, but in my personal life, right? Everybody knows that my son is everything to me. And if I don't display those core values or show him, how to live life ethically and with values, then I fail as a parent, right? And I fail as a leader if I do the same thing. So to me, you can't just talk it, right? You have to really believe it, and it comes out. And I believe every person is a value, like you said, Alex. Every single person is a value, and that's how they have to be treated, no matter what.
Yes. Hey,
All the same. We're all in this together. We're all just
that's
bags
right.
of meat, walking around trying to do our best. But yeah,
Clumps of
that's like,
cells.
right, clumps of
We have our
Great
cells.
kumbaya
example.
moments, right, Dave? Kumbaya together.
But really, when we comport ourselves with that kind of perspective and that kind of mentality, which it seems like actually all three of you do. I know all three of you personally, you're all just good-hearted people. It makes a difference, not just professionally, but in life. So
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the venue, but first we have a question from Janique Evans. I hope I said that right. She asked which coding course would be best for someone with no coding experience. 99% of our members start with the CPC. There are those who take different paths, but that's really the foundation of coding and a great place to start. Any objections or thoughts about that, Jacob, CJ, or Rita?
No, I would say, I teach for AAPC in their VILT program, the Fundamentals in Medicine course, as well as the CPC. I think CPC is the best place to start. And depending on the individual, if they don't have a lot of like clinical knowledge or healthcare experience, it might be good to also do that FMC course, which is the Fundamentals of Medicine Concepts, to get your medical terminology up to speed and just to kind of get your feet wet.
Okay.
we have a package course with that too. You can take FMC and then you can immediately go into the CPC course. So you get the foundation and then you move into, more of the meat. So
Right.
it's a great little bundle too. I think you actually save some money if you bundle them that way too, I believe. And you
And
can take
CJ
them
might be your
self-paced.
instructor.
Yeah, you can take them with a virtual instructor. Lots of
That's
different
right.
ways to make it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
The only thing I would add was just making sure that you have your strategy before you have a certification. I think a lot of people think the letter is what gets you there, the letters behind your name, and that's a very easy thing to do. You see these very successful or employed people with these strings of letters behind their name, and it makes you think that's my path, right? And they forget that this is your own personal career. This is your path, and you need to have a strategy for what certifications you want, what you want to do with your career that align with your interests and your skills and things like that. And for most people, that CPC is that first step, to get the fundamentals, to get the overall specialty exploration. You learn every specialty in like CPC course, so you can. But I always tell people, pay attention when you go through, because you'll be drawn to certain specialties. You might love cardiology, hate E&M. You might love urology. You might be drawn somewhere, and you want to pay attention to that in your course, because it can really start to alter your career strategy. So take a minute, plan out what you kind of want, watch some videos, do some research, figure out, the actual strategy for your career and how you plan on getting there, and when getting what certification is going to bring you the most value.
Jacob,
I agree with that.
Oh, go ahead, Rita.
No, I agree with both Dr. Wolf and Jacob, because it's also the passion within you. To be a coder, you have to have the passion for it, right? It's not just, oh, I want to code because I want to work from home or things like that. It's really about what connects you to that. And a lot of us are in our fields for different reasons, and we connected through that, getting the CPC. Like, we became very interested, something that was challenging for us. And we thought, I think I really want to get into this, and then started going into it. The other thing I suggest is that talk to some people that are in those fields, right? Talk to someone who's in a field that seems very interesting to you, and you might want to ask them some questions about it, because they'll tell you, this is what I deal with every day, or this is how, my day is when it comes to like coding or compliance or whatever you're interested in, and get more of that information so you come up with that plan, like Jacob said.
And my thought was, how do you come up with a plan when you may have just seen an ad on social media or wherever about this career path? I recommend Janique, again, I hope I say your name right, but check out the AAPC Facebook group. Check out our videos on our YouTube channel. We have a playlist of many, many, many interviews with members where you can hear and learn about their path. Every path is different. There's no cookie cutter approach. So just explore. CJ.
I was going to say, and two other things from a practical sense is, you live somewhere. So there's a local chapter there. Get to know those people. The people who serve in those positions are there to be helpful. Usually that's what I've experienced. So go to a chapter meeting as a guest, figure out what they're doing. And then the second thing is, if you go to any of the AAPC conferences, the app has a really good networking feature in it, and just connect with people and put yourself out there and start talking.
Yes.
Yeah,
Heather Cleveland says, if you don't have any experience, once you have your CPCA, I found the Practicode course is helpful while looking for a job. So lot of different tools to help you get you where you want to be. Dave, did you have a thought?
I was just gonna say, yeah, guaranteed if you posted a comment on the AAPC Facebook page or I don't know, any sort of social media page that we have saying, hey, I'm looking to get into this industry. Can somebody tell me about it? Be prepared for, the floodgates to open up because, people in this industry love talking about it, especially love, helping new people. So
Yep.
be afraid.
You can even connect with any of our panelists today on LinkedIn, and they would love to guide you along if you're interested in that. But Rita, real quick, our venue, our host hotel for our regional conference in Philly. Tell me about that.
So it's see this city hall right behind me? Okay.
Yes.
The venue is literally 1 block from there. So one of those buildings that you see is the hotel. So it is very it's in an area where it's very walkable. You're near City Hall. Macy's is across the street. You can go shopping to your heart's content.
Is that Macy's like still 3 stories? It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big one. Yes. Used to be the old John Wanamaker. For those of you who've ever watched the movie Mannequin, I'm showing my age. That's where it was filmed. So then as you're walking down, this is actually Broad Street, which is one of the main venues, main arteries within the city of Philadelphia. There's hotels, restaurants, there's theaters on this street. Then as you go towards where the hotel is, you can cross the other side, okay? Because the hotel is like on the other side of, see, the way City Hall is situated, there's like all different pieces of it. So the hotel is like behind City Hall on the other side, to the right. So, but you see all of it, and when you're on that street, you can. There's a lot of great restaurants. You're about a 10-minute walk from Old City, which is where the Liberty Bell is, Independence Hall, Ben Franklin Museum, like all that great stuff that you see me doing the snippets about. And then when you go to the other side of City Hall, straight down, that's where you start to see the Rocky statue, the Art Museum, Benjamin Franklin Parkway. So
Boathouse Row, right?
Yeah, there's like all this great stuff. And there's a tour bus that you can take. And if it's the first time in Philly, I always say take the tour bus. It takes you all over the city, and then it's a hop on, hop off. The other thing they have is a bus called the Flash. It's a purple bus where you pay $5 and you can get on and off at certain spots, different times. So the city is well situated. It's in a grid format, and north to south is numeric, and east to west is names. So it's very easy to find. But the hotel is absolutely beautiful. The building's been here for a very long time. It used to be a corporate office back in the day that they reformatted into a hotel. And like I said, and right across the street from it is the Hard Rock as well. So, and Reading Terminal, which is a huge food market. So you can walk anywhere from that hotel to get anywhere you need to be.
Is there a top 3 things that you would like if someone is just going into conference? What like top 3 destinations or attractions would you have them check out? I guess you got the town hall right there.
So yeah, but you don't have to go in it. That's where like the mayors and all that. But to me, if you are in Philadelphia and you got to see 3 things, it is Independence Hall. It is the Liberty Bell with the visitor center, that whole like area. And you have to run up the Art Museum steps, because that is, Rocky at its best, right? That they're like the top 3, although, the Italian market comes into play and so many other things. But like, you just have to do it.
So cool.
I'm going to be doing that. Alex is going to be reenacting Rocky, I'm sure.
No, hey,
like 10 times up and down. It'll be
maybe
like,
we can do our
I'm ready
fitness
for the day.
session from the Rocky stairs, Dave.
Oh, that'd be a great idea. We
Yeah,
could go
the morning warm up from.
The other
love
thing
that.
that's really cool about Philadelphia is the Eastern State Penitentiary, which was a major prison back in the day where Al Capone stayed for a while, and it is one of the most haunted places in America.
Heard that.
Oh.
You guys, I'd love to stay in chat, but I got to run the networking lunch for RISCON, so I got to drop off. But it was nice seeing all of you and, talking. We'll see you all in Philly.
See you, Dave.
Bye.
Well, conference just isn't for the individual. The individuals, when they learn and attend conference, can take information back that can benefit
Yeah.
their facilities. Jacob, would you talk to a little bit about that? Maybe some things in the past that you've learned, or that you're able to share with your facility and help them benefit from conference.
Yeah, absolutely. Two things come to mind. One is I see a lot of teams go to these conferences, whether it's one or two or three people or something, and they all tend to stay in a group and go to the same sessions. And when there's options like this, it is such a benefit to break away from your friends, sit with strangers, have the networking benefit, but then also expand what sessions you're able to go to as an organization. So there's two or three people from your organization going. I highly encourage you, have the friendship, get dinner with them at night, but by all means, try to go to different sessions, try to collect as much information and value from this as you can, because these help you demonstrate value back at your organization. When you can come and you can be current, you can talk about what you learned in your sessions, the networking you had during or after those sessions around how somebody else plans to apply that information in their organization. These all help you come into your leadership, whether that's more senior leadership or your direct manager, with how I am staying up to date, the approaches that other organizations are taking. It really helps you expand that view. And I think it's very important to realize that this isn't a closed event. You don't just go and leave and you've learned something and you got your CEU and it's over. There's so many opportunities to improve yourself, whether it's you summarize something and then represent the topic to a team at a team luncheon, or you have the conversation proactively with your leadership around how you think something might be impacting your organization in the future. So realize it doesn't just end when the conference is over, that there's so many things you can do with that information and the things you've learned back at work and to your leadership, to your peers, that have great value.
Just as you spoke about someone getting into this career, a prospective student laying or plotting out their objectives, someone attending HealthCon should probably do the same thing. Maybe get together with their management team and say, what challenges do we face? How maybe even grab the agenda off of our website, and I'm going to drop the link back in the comments here, but go through the agenda and say, hey, we need help in these areas. CJ, any thoughts about that?
Yeah, so when I was at MD Anderson Cancer Center as a director, so I had like 30 people reporting up to me, and different people would want to go to different conferences, and it was a lot stronger when and you have a limited budget and you're trying to approve things. It's a lot stronger when somebody comes to you and say, oh, versus going. The not so good approach might be, hey, I want to go to Philly because I want to run up the Rocky Stairs. Can you send me? You might do that behind the scenes, but that might not be your opening line. You might want to say, like you just said, Alex, look at the agenda, pick two or three things and say, I have a proposal. Last year we struggled in this area, or, we know that it's on our audit plan to go over this issue. I want to attend these 6 different things, and these are my goals. These are what I'm going to deliver to you when I get back. Just a little bit more of a proactive approach, and that can sometimes help.
Awesome.
Yeah, I agree with Jacob and Dr. Wolf. Like, it's really good if you could say, I can bring back maybe like 3 PowerPoint slides just to talk about, this is what I learned, this is how it's going to affect us, and so forth. Because sometimes you may get all this great information, but maybe it's not shared with everyone, so they know all of the great things that you learned at conference. So it's really important to share that.
And I think one of the special things about our regional conferences is that they're a little bit smaller than our national conference. So it's easier to connect and build relationships with presenters. So if there is something that your office has a challenge with, you can talk to that, maybe get more time with that presenter after their session, and more intimate.
And even reach out to them before. Like, if you're going to their session, get on LinkedIn and say, hey, I'm going to your session. I'm hoping to get this and this out of it. Would you be able to maybe address that? When people have done that for me, it helps me be a better presenter, because I know people want to hear that. So, make those requests.
Awesome. I love it. Okay. Well, we're looking forward to this. Rita is giving us a little teaser with her background, as he always does. Again, Rita, I love your passion for your city, and my time there with you was just amazing. Such a great town. Looking forward to being there. The link to the registration and information page are in the comments, or is in the comments. Let's see here. There's information I need to share. All conference sessions will take place at Lowe's. Is that the name of the hotel? Okay, Lowe's Hotel, and it's near many attractions. This is what we spoke about, right in the thick of the city. If you book your room by July 24th, you can get the AAPC group rate. And if you have any questions about the town, I mean, Rita would love, I'm sure, Rita, you wouldn't mind sharing if someone reached out to you.
No, absolutely.
Okay. And then we're all here acclimatizing. Well, CJ and I in Utah trying to get used to the heat. So when we hit the Philly heat, we'll be good. And I know Jacob is as well.
Getting the humidity.
Yeah.
It's a good time of year. Should be fun.
Yeah. You guys stick with me as we wind this down. So everybody, just a reminder that you can watch AAPC Social Hour on Facebook. You're watching it right now on Facebook, but it will live there as well, a recording of this. And I'll also put this up on our YouTube channel in the next week. We also have a podcast, the AAPC podcast. And you can listen to it as you're running errands. And I know I'm a podcaster. Are you guys podcasters?
Yeah.
I love it. What a great way to get information and stay connected with the things you love. Thanks everybody for being with us. And we will see you in a few weeks. Have a great 4th of July, everybody.